Hey now, welcome to the Winnipeg Sports Talk post-game reaction of Game 3, Winnipeg Jets Dallas Stars second round series. The Winnipeg Jets losing 5-2 to Dallas. Dallas leads the series now 2-1 with Game 4 taking place Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. Pleased to be joined by Connor Hrabchak. Connor, how you doing? And happy Mother's Day to everyone out there as well. I hope you had a lovely Sunday.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And the Jets did not deliver with a Mother's Day present as the road woes continue, as they still haven't won a game on the road in these Stanley Cup playoffs. And there's a lot to this game, a lot of, good Jets play, bad Jets play, ref controversy. We're going to break it all down here.
Yeah, we're going to save the controversy. We're going to go play by play as it happens. As you mentioned, losing on the road, that's 8 straight road losses for the Jets, dating back to the series against Vegas. Coming into the game, we were wondering, can they carry over that strong play from Game 2 into Game 3? Can they win on the road? They're going to have to win at the road at some point, as they did lose Game 1, and Connor Hrabchak had a shutout in Game 2. How will he respond on the road? As for lineup changes, no Miro Heiskanen still for Dallas, and for the Winnipeg Jets, you got to take advantage of these games when he's not in the lineup. We've seen what Josh Morrissey has brought to the Jets. Dallas would benefit equally with a number one defenseman. And for the Jets, Connor, no lineup changes. Feels strange almost to say that, as we've been on injury watch basically the entire playoffs.
We've been on injury watch. We've been on third pairing watch. In terms of at home, they would run Stanley and Shen in the St. Louis series. And then on the road, Colin Miller got into a game. Hayden Fleury got into a game. And now here we are in this series. But coming off the way they played in Game 2, I don't blame Arniel for going no lineup changes, because the team played great. That was Winnipeg Jets hockey. And they were looking to replicate that. And for 2 periods, they were in this game, and it was closer in the first 40 for sure.
It was a tie game. It was a tie game until it wasn't. And in the first period, you talk so much about getting off to a great start, and the Jets can't seem to figure out the first part of the game here. This postseason, Nito Niederreiter called for high sticking 22 seconds in. They just about kill that one off. Then Josh Morrissey takes a tripping penalty. And on the ensuing power play, Roope Hintz redirects a nice Mikko Rantanen. I don't know if it's a shot, very hard pass, and it's 1-0 Dallas, and that's the first shot on goal that Connor Hrabchak allowed, and that's the 4th time this postseason he's allowed an opening shot. He only did that 3 times in the regular season. So we've talked so much, Connor, about getting off to a good start. This was not that for the Winnipeg Jets.
This was not that. And that is 4 times that they have not gotten off to a great start with the first shot on goal going in. Credit to the Sportsnet production team here, because they put together a little montage of goals that the Stars have scored this exact goal 3 times in this playoffs already, where Rantanen has it on the half wall, or whoever. One of the goals was the second unit. They fire a hard pass to a player standing with their stick open, redirects it. And Connor Hrabchak, this is a weird one. Neil Pionk's kind of screening him. It's a nice deflection. Can he get to it? Absolutely. But yeah, a really nice set play that the Stars run a lot of, as you can see here with the goal visualizer. Hard pass there from Rantanen. Hintz deflects it. And this was on the second penalty for the Jets. So very reminiscent start of the Stars start in Winnipeg for Game 2, where they took the double minor. Winnipeg here took 2 penalties, and both teams in both games on the road went down 1-0 pretty early, courtesy of a power play goal. And it was Roope Hintz getting the Stars on the board there.
Yeah, not what you want to see if you're the Winnipeg Jets, getting scored on by Mikko Rantanen, whose name we said a lot after Game 1. Very quiet in Game 2. Game 3, pretty impressive game for him. Yeah. We've talked a lot about special teams. Game 1, the Jets not able to capitalize on the power play. Game 2, they did get 1 power play goal. They had a couple opportunities here in the first period. And you think, okay, if they're number 1 power play, everyone's back together. But they went 0 for 2 in the first period and 0 for 4 in the entire game. What did you see from the Jets' power play?
Yeah, 0 for 4 in the game, now 1 for 13 in the series, a unit that was 29.8%, number 1 during the regular season, and everyone's fully healthy now. This is something that's going to have to improve going forward for the Winnipeg Jets. They are generating chances, but not nearly at the rate that we've seen. Give credit to the Stars penalty kill. They're very aggressive. They're doing a great job keeping the Jets to the outside. But I don't know if you agree, Remo. I'm just not seeing the same movement, the same chance generation. The Jets aren't really earning a better rate than the 1 for 13 that they've gone in this series so far. And that's something that's supposed to be a huge advantage for this Winnipeg Jets group. And in this game, the first couple of periods, though, they went 0 for 3 in the first two periods. If they get any of those goals, this is a drastically different game. This Jets team plays much better with a lead than when they're chasing it. They're one of the best teams when playing with a lead. And a power play goal early here would have propelled them. We're going to say the word propelled a lot. It's on the brain. But it would have propelled them to having a lead. And that when the Jets are playing with a lead, they're a dangerous team. So this power play needs to wake up for sure.
Yeah, one of those players, I know Ken Wiebe keeps noting, hasn't scored a power play goal since December. Yeah. Did get on the Jets on the board with an even strength goal. Really nice wraparound, tying it up, about 10 minutes in. So, hey, they're tied 1-1 and right back in it here in Dallas.
Yeah, Kyle Connor has been one of the Jets' best forwards in this playoff run. This was his 5th goal of the postseason. And yeah, he's a player that if you're looking at the power play, he needs to get a lot better. But he hasn't scored a power play goal in December, which feels like a fake stat. But a really nice wraparound here. The Scheifele line, I thought when they had possession of the puck in the offensive zone, they did a really good job of cycling it and creating chances. Where they got burned in this game was in transition and defensively with their puck management. But this was one of their many shifts in the first period, I thought, where they were controlling the puck and it ends in a Kyle Connor goal.
Yeah, 1-1. Lead didn't last too long as Thomas Harley gets Dallas on the board, making it 2-1. Puck squirts out to him in the slot. And Connor, this ended Mikko Rantanen's record streak of 13 straight goals with a point in the playoffs. The original record was Mario Lemieux with 9. But Thomas Harley, we saw him in the Four Nations. He's their number one guy without Miro Heiskanen. And that's a shot that gets by Connor Hrabchak, and Dallas is leading 2-1. And this was on a delayed penalty call as well.
Yes, delayed penalty call, so the Jets were going to go back to the kill, but Thomas Harley got the goal. I will say, we were talking to Gavin Spittle from 105.3 The Fan the morning of this game on WST Sunday Live, and I brought up that Mikko Rantanen stat, almost saying, like, okay, at some point, someone else has to score, though. Someone else has to chip in, and here's Thomas Harley. The Jets kind of have, is that Mikael Granlund pinned there? 1-on-2, maybe 1-on-3, and he escapes it, and Thomas Harley's just wide open in the slot. Too many dots, too many white dots standing around Thomas Harley and not enough taking the body. He's their best defenseman in the lineup right now with no Miro Heiskanen. And if you give him that much room in the middle of the slot, he's going to make you pay. But I think the Jets could have killed that play even earlier when Mikael Granlund was 1-on-2, maybe even 1-on-3 entering the zone. You let him take the puck. You even trip him. He gets up, still somehow makes the pass. And all of a sudden you're trailing 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1 going into the second period. What'd you make of the Jets' first period, or first look at them on the road in this second round series against Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, more of the same. I didn't like the Harley goal, especially. I think that was maybe my least favorite goal from a Jets effort perspective in this entire game. The Mikko Rantanen one later on as well, I think, is a contender for that. But yeah, I mean, good bounce back to tie the game up after, taking 2 penalties early. I can't imagine it's easy to get into a rhythm when you take 4 minutes in penalties right off the bat. Undisciplined start. Connor Hrabchak lets in the first shot on goal. And you come out of it down only 2-1. I think that's ultimately a win, but these starts are going to have to get better for the Winnipeg Jets going forward. Their best start of the series, maybe of the playoffs, came in game 2, and they've yet to have really a good start on the road all playoffs long. So that is something I'll be watching for right off the bat. Game 4 on Tuesday is, can the Jets have a positive road first period? Because like I said, the Jets playing with a lead, much more dangerous team than trailing.
Yeah, I'm getting flashbacks. Game 3 against St. Louis, when Pavel Buchnevich scores pretty much right away. They were down 2-0 quick, and Scott O'Neill said that was the game, and we thought that was the hindsight comment. But the Jets did battle back to tie it, and second period they did battle back again. Josh Morrissey dangling Blackwell at the blue line, then finds Nino Niederreiter with a beautiful pass, buries it, and the Jets are all tied up.
Yeah, this is classic Josh Morrissey, ankle breaker at the blue line. Incredible outside in move to the middle of the ice, and then feathers the pass through a couple of sticks to Nino Niederreiter, who picked up his 4th goal of the playoffs. So he's a player that's really chipping in from that Lowry line on the score sheet. But yeah, Josh Morrissey, he's a player that in the St. Louis series, they were chipping and chasing and hitting him every single time he touched the puck. The Stars really got to that game in this game specifically as well. But I thought Josh Morrissey was maybe the Jets' best player all night. And this play is just an all-world play. We've seen him do this many, many times at the blue line, making defenders look silly, making them fall over. Colin Blackwell goes to challenge, and Josh Morrissey even makes him fall, passes it through a few players, and Niederreiter scores. And the second period was easily the Jets' best period in this game, in my opinion. They had the goal that tied the game. They had a missed power play opportunity or 2, I believe, in this period. And it was one where I thought they controlled the flow of play, maybe broke even a little bit more that you can't say. We'll get into the third period here, where the Jets obviously get outscored 3-0 in the third and ultimately lose the game. But this second period, you liked a lot of coming out of the first period down 2-1, a lot of penalties. I thought the Jets really got back to their game in the second period, and an all-world play from Josh Morrissey had the game tied.
I gotta say, it looked pretty sweet if you're watching on YouTube with the visualizer. There you could see the ankle breaking nature. And I think it was Blake Wheeler at intermission said that Wheeler's lost a couple MCLs from that in practice. It was cool to see the former captain give his perspective on the Jets on the broadcast during intermission. You mentioned the power play. There was one in the second period. Rantanen called for tripping on DeMello. There was another penalty that wasn't called. It was Mark Scheifele getting tied up with Mason Marchment behind the play. And you see that from time to time. I don't really like it, but guys try to hook each other behind the play, think, oh, the ref's not going to be looking. They're going to be looking at where the puck is, not this way behind. And Marchment, and we saw him do this in Winnipeg where, I don't know, he's been known to embellish. He goes down. And I remember in one of the games, I forget if it was game 1 or game 2, acted like he was very hurt. There was no call. And then he got up like he was totally fine. And then after that, went up to the official, whacked him on the shin pad. And you're like, oh, that should be, you can't do that. You're looking at Rule 40.1. Any player who deliberately applies physical force in any manner against an official, in any manner attempts to injure an official, physically demeans or deliberately applies physical force to an official solely for the purpose of getting free of such an official during immediately following an altercation shall receive a game misconduct. So there was nothing awarded on that. Mason Marchment, no discipline. Elliot Friedman tweeting after that it was the on-ice officials called to decide if it qualifies as an abuse of officials violation. So very strange precedent to set here where you have a player tapping an official on the shin pads and nothing happening, when even on the broadcast at intermission, they're saying, hey, can't do that.
Stick into the official's shin. That is the question I think we should be asking here. Did he propel his stick into the official's shin? No, I 100% agree with you. It's a incredibly weird precedent to set, that it's up to the official's discretion as to whether or not the whack was hard enough on his shin, whether or not he was abused enough by Mason Marchment on this particular incident. Like, I don't get that. You're a professional hockey league. You can't have players. It's not a vicious slash by any means by Mason Marchment to the ref, but anything towards an official should be an immediate no. And I'm not advocating for, the rule book says things about like, if you abuse of an official means like automatic 10-game suspension and things like that. I'm not advocating for anything like that for Mason Marchment. Like, this was not a vicious slash. But I agree, like, you can't be setting this precedent that if you don't like a call, you can just give a little sneaky whack to the shin of the official. I thought for sure there'd be something, but there clearly wasn't. And like you said, Elliot Friedman tweeting out no further discipline. So I think the NHL got this one wrong, and I think we're going to be talking about something else that we think they got wrong in a minute here.
Yeah, Hustler, who's at the game in Dallas, looking forward to hearing his reaction and his experience Monday on Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily here on YouTube. And Make sure you hit the like button down below. Tell YouTube, hey, we're putting out some good content. Maybe we'll show it to more people. Hit the subscribe to our channel as well. So, hey, you don't want to miss anything. Those notifications, hit that bell, and it'll tell you when we post videos, when we're live. Who knows? Maybe we'll have some surprise shows or something like that in the future. I did enjoy Hustler's comment. Said we have better oversight in local beer leagues. And it is interesting, the NHL deciding not to enforce their own rule book, which we're going to get to. But overall, the second period, you get out of it tied 2-2 on the road compared to how your road games have gone in St. Louis. I think I'd be feeling like pretty good going into the third period that, hey, this is going to be a tight game and not the unraveling that we've seen in the past.
And every game in St. Louis was over going into the third, or like more or less over. I believe game 6, actually, maybe it was the start of the third that everything unraveled, or maybe it was late in the second. But I feel like game 3 in St. Louis, it was the first period. It was over. It was 3-0 St. Louis. The Jets didn't have it. They lost 7-2. Game 4 was late in the second period. And game 6, I believe, was late in the second period as well. So this is the closest the Jets have been through 40 minutes of a game on the road, 2-2. And yeah, the way they played in that second period, you definitely felt good going into the third that they can make an impact here. But we'll get into it. The controversial goal call, the Jets don't end up generating really much at all offensively in this third period either. So a lot to not like from a Jets perspective in this final 20 minutes that we're going to cover here.
Yeah, this is the play that everyone is talking about. Alex Petrovic gets a rebound off a Rantanen shot at the side of the net, and it looks like he tries to kick it to his stick, but he just ends up kicking it, and it goes towards Connor Hrabchak. He tries to stop it, and it goes off his stick and in the Jets' net. There's a lengthy review, like way too long. Like they started playing Freebird in Dallas. They're throwing up the DVD logo on the screen, which I thought was hilarious. You always remember the DVD logo where you wanted to hit the corner. It took forever, and you think, okay, what are they reviewing? They're reviewing, is it a kick? Are they reviewing, did it touch his stick after the kick? But they come out and say they were reviewing that it went off Hellebuck and in. And I'm going to read, so I'll read the official. No, that was what the ref said.
Read the official,
and here's what they put out, the NHL. The Situation Room initiated a video review to further examine if Alexander Petrovic kicked the puck into the Winnipeg net. Video was then used to determine if the puck made contact with Petrovic's stick prior to it entering the net. After looking at all available replays, video review supported the referee's call on the ice that Connor Hrabchak propelled the puck into his own net. And that is, I think, contradictory towards what the rule says. The following should clarify deflections following a kicked puck that enters the goal. So they've determined that is a kick. The kick puck that deflects off the stick of any player, excluding the goalkeeper's stick, shall be ruled a good goal. So it was a kick puck. It did go off the goalkeeper's stick, and they still called it a good goal, even though it says excluding the goalkeeper's stick. So they're saying the puck was not deflected, but was propelled by Hrabchak. Can you make any sense of this to me?
Propelled. Have you ever heard the word propelled more in your entire life, Remo, than in the last 3 hours here since this goal went in? I haven't. I'll tell you that for sure. I'm going to bring up Rule 37.4 in the rule book because we all got our latest edition of the rule book recently. And this is the distinct kicking motion rule that states a goal cannot be scored on a play where an attacking player propels the puck with his skate into the net. And then in brackets, it says, even by means of a subsequent deflection off of another player using a distinct kicking motion. So the ref, after this lengthy review, went to center ice and said the words, the Winnipeg goalie puts the puck into his own net after a kick. It's a good goal, and points to center ice. So the ref says it's a kick. So that already should make it, in my opinion, no goal. It's a kicking motion. It doesn't hit any sticks on the way. And then you brought up the point of a kicked puck that deflects off the stick of any player, which it doesn't, excluding the goaltender, should be a good goal. And it goes off the goalie's stick. And because it goes off of Connor Hrabchak, the refs decide that he propels the puck into the net, it doesn't deflect off him. He propels it into the net. This puck doesn't go in if it isn't for Connor Hrabchak, I believe is what they're ruling. If you can, Remo, bring up the goal visualizer again, because I'm not sure what Connor Hrabchak is really supposed to do on this one. Obviously, he's supposed to stop the puck and keep it out of the net, duh. But this play is Jason Robertson is backdoor with Alex Iafallo one-on-one. So is Connor Hrabchak responsible for this goal? He propelled it into his own net. What does that even mean? There's nothing in the rule book that says, oh, you can kick a puck as long as the goalie then propels it into his own net. There's nothing that says that. That is completely up to the discretion of the officials on a situation. They more or less made that up because it's truly not in the rule book. And Connor Hrabchak tries to make a save on it, goes into the net. But if he doesn't save it, Jason Robertson is wide open backdoor. And this is a kick to the middle of the ice, going into the crease. So I don't know what Connor Hrabchak's really supposed to do in this situation. He tries to make a save. It goes off of him and into the net. Jason Robertson is wide open backdoor. He probably bangs that home if Connor Hrabchak sees that it's a kick and leaves it. Like, I don't know how Connor Hrabchak's supposed to make that decision in a split second. Be like, oh, that's a kick, so I'm not going to, at risk of propelling the puck into the net, I'm going to leave it. There's just so much at play here, and it all comes back to the rule book, where nothing in the rule book says, oh, but if the goalie propels it into his own net, then it's a good goal. And kicking motion, it's very clearly a kick. It goes off of Connor Hrabchak and it's a kicking goal. They still award 2 assists on the goal. So if Connor Hrabchak put this puck in his own net and it's an own goal, why are 2 players getting an assist as well? There's just so many layers to this, Remo. I don't know if you have anything to say on it, but I don't know what Connor Hrabchak's supposed to do there, because apparently he propels this puck into his own net and it's on him.
Yeah, well, he tried to make the save and the puck deflected off of him and in.
That's what he's trying to do.
They're saying that it was propelled, like he shot it himself. And yes, Rule 79.4, as we all have the rule book handy here, that that if there is an own goal, the player who last touched the puck should be credited with the goal, but no assist shall be awarded. And they put 2 assists on this goal. So it seems to be a lot of contradictory stuff. My take in the end is they thought that this puck wasn't going in on its own, that Hrabchak hit it in, and they said, and there's no rule in the rule book for them to say, hey, you know what, this puck wasn't going in, the goalie put it in. We're just gonna go with our own opinion here and call it a good goal, when very clearly that if a puck is kicked, like let's say if it went off his pad and in and he tried to make a save, or he tried to make a save and went off his glove and in, still wouldn't be a goal if it was kicked. Like the where it was going is irrelevant according to the NHL rules, and they really went contradictory to what the rule book says.
So what they want Connor Hrabchak to do there, I guess, is get out of the way of this puck and stop Jason Robertson on a backdoor one-timer. Because if he tries to make this save, he's at risk of what happened, which is the puck goes off of him and in, and it was his own fault because the player that kicked the puck into the crease had no wrongdoing in this goal. Even though they ruled it a kick, the ref comes out to center ice and says after the kick, it was propelled into, well, he didn't say propelled. He said the Winnipeg goalie put the puck into his own net after the kick. I don't know. We could talk about this for hours. People will be talking about it for hours. The truth is, from this point forward, the Jets let in a goal 50 seconds later and don't generate any offense. But I'm so puzzled as to how they came to this decision, because it's not in the rule book.
Yeah, the Winnipeg Jets did not play, after this, they definitely did not play well enough to win. But you want to see, you have a rule book. You want to see a league like the NHL play by their own rules, which they didn't on the Mason Marchment play and didn't here. And, if they wanted, they should have just came out and said, hey, what, this puck was going wide, the goalie knocked it in, so we're going to let it count. But if according to the rules, this shouldn't count, but we're going to say that he propelled it in, make up some BS terminology so it'll count. And, it was up to the Winnipeg Jets to brush this off and find their game and continue to play. They were not able to do that, and we talked about how they unraveled in moments in the second period against St. Louis. And this was that in the third period, just, I don't know, 50 seconds later. Guess who? Mikko Rantanen, his ninth goal of the playoffs, puts one past Hellebuyck, just walks through the slot, and Hellebuyck widely out of position, and he puts it, top Ched. So, and that was 4-2 Dallas, and that was kind of it for the Jets there.
Yeah, and to Stars fans who are watching this and will inevitably disagree with our assessment of the goal call, because Jets fans would probably do the same. The Stars were absolutely the better team from this point forward and earned this win in the third period because the Jets did not handle that well. The long review, the goal going against them, this play right after where Mikko Rantanen is walking right into the slot. The Jets don't really manage this off the rush very well. Roope Hintz has a ton of speed. This line has been such a problem. Dylan Samberg kind of drops down to one knee there. That's why you see his dot stop moving on the goal visualizer. And Mikko Rantanen, so good off the rush, just steps around him, beats Connor Hrabchak over the blocker side. And this game, I mean, it's a 1-goal game. Regardless of how you feel about the review, length, the goal, whether or not it should have counted, it's still a 1-goal game with like 15 minutes left. And the Jets were by far the second best team on the ice from this point forward. So Mikko Rantanen propelling his team to victory with a nice goal off the rush there to make it 4-2.
Yeah, you see them going with the speed. The Jets are doing a line change in the back as well. Not what you want to see if you're, playing the Jets going down 4-2. But hey, there's still like 15 minutes left, still time. Game not quite over, but really not generating anything in that third period. Natural stat trick with the high danger chances as 0 for the Jets in the third, and it was Wyatt Johnston putting the exclamation mark number 5 for Dallas with 6 minutes left in the third period, and that was really the game there. I think the turning point was the goal, but there's still enough time for them to find their game and get back. You're only down 1 if you're the Jets, and it's unfortunate that such a play turned out to be a turning point, but ultimately it's up to them to find a way to respond.
Yeah, and that's something that the Jets haven't been able to do on the road, whether it's a bad goal, whether it's a goal that Connor Hrabchak shouldn't have given up. If you're looking back at the St. Louis series, they haven't handled that well. The bouncing back, they did it well in the first 2 periods in this game, which gave me and a lot of other people watching hope that maybe that this series was different in terms of the road game for this Winnipeg Jets team. But this goal, the long review, whatever you want to pin it on, they did not handle the bounce back of this well at all. They only had 6 scoring chances in the third period per natural stat trick. Dallas had 10, and they were protecting a lead for the final 14 minutes of it. They were protecting a 2-goal lead of this third period. So just simply not enough offense. If there's anything going into game 4, you're looking at the second period of this game, because I thought the Jets were the better team in that period, really asserted their will on the road where they haven't done that much at all in this playoff run. But the third period and the Jets unraveling in a matter of moments has to stop, especially against a team as talented as Dallas, with a player who is as red hot as Mikko Rantanen is right now, who had another fantastic performance. And a guy like Wyatt Johnston I thought was great again, got the goal late. So a lot of standout performances for Dallas, and they got some secondary scoring outside of Rantanen, and he chipped in.
Yeah, Mikko Rantanen, probably the leading Conn Smythe candidate.
Probably.
Right now, leading the league in playoff points, 18 so far. McDavid behind with 16, Draisaitl 15. There's Kyle Connor 5th with 13 got on the board tonight. So there it is, 5-2. A lot of talk going to be about the goal the Alex Petrovic scored. Scott O'Neill not happy after the game. Kyle Connor. Kyle Connor, but Murat asked him the difference between a propel and when it becomes from a deflection to a propel. Couldn't really answer that, and I think you just want to see the rules interpreted correctly, and by all accounts here, they were not. So, look, you move on, you're down 2-1, and game 4 is Tuesday night at 7 p.m. I think you'd like to get a win here and come back to Winnipeg tied 2-2. Going down 3-1 might be tough. You're going to have to win a game on the road at some point, so it's either going to have to be Game 4 or Game 6.
Yeah, and look, being down 3-1, even though you have home ice, is a tough spot to be in, especially with a team as good as Dallas, with a goalie as good as Jake Ottinger. To win 3 straight against them would be very tough. So game 4 on Tuesday is a huge one for Winnipeg. They still need their first road win in the playoffs. Like you said, they're not going to win this series unless they win a road game, whether it comes in game 4 or it comes in game 6. If the Jets can get to that point, they need to get the better starts in these series. I mean, they did it in game 2 on home ice. They really fed off the energy of the crowd, but game 4 they really need to bring their A game because this Dallas team, when they're on, they are just dominating the Jets off the rush. Mikko Rantanen is running wild, the moose on the loose, and Jake Ottinger is very very strong and steady in net. So this is the Jets are in tough here. Down 2-1, you're on the road. You have lost the home ice advantage with the Stars taking game 1 of the series in Winnipeg. You got to get that home ice advantage back, and they still have a chance to do it Tuesday night, game 4. And the Jets need to play a full 60-minute road game, something they haven't done in this year's playoffs.
Well, Connor, I think at this point, after 30 minutes here, we've said it all. Any other final last words? I think you hit the nail on the head right there.
I'm ready to propel my way to Tuesday for game 4, Remo. I'm ready.
All right, on to game 4. We'll be back here on YouTube and podcast after game 4. For Connor Hrabchak, I'm Michael Remis. This has been the WST post-game reaction.